Imagine missing the biggest game of your life because you decided to go to Tijuana, Mexico and party the night away. Very few NFL players would pass up the opportunity to play in the Super Bowl, but that's exactly what happened to Barret Robbins, a former All-Pro center for the Raiders. It all started in January of 2003 when the Oakland Raiders defeated the Tennessee Titans 41-24 in the AFC Championship game. The Raiders were going to their first Super Bowl since 1980, and they would face the Tampa Bucks, who were led by their former coach John Gruden. 2 days before the biggest game of his life, Robbins returned to the team hotel in time for curfew, but then seemingly disappeared before the next morning. Raiders staffers were doing everything they could to locate Robbins, but even his wife was confused and concerned by his sudden departure. Sure enough, the next day around 8 p.m., Robbins resurfaced at the team hotel, but he was so intoxicated that his coaches and team doctor couldn't figure out what he was saying. As it turns out, Robbins had left the team hotel shortly after the curfew check and proceeded to have a wild drug and alcohol-fueled night. He went from bar to bar throughout the greater San Diego area, even making it as far as Tijuana, Mexico, which was 20 miles south of his starting point. Although Robbins doesn't remember much of his journey, several eyewitnesses recall the 6'3", 315-pound All-Pro lineman being dangerously drunk and bouncing around from bar to bar. No one would ever have guessed that he'd be expected to start the Super Bowl 24 hours later. By the time he sobered up, Robbins was met with the disappointing news that he would not be starting in the Super Bowl. Instead, he was removed from the roster and told to distance himself from the team. The following morning, when the Super Bowl was getting ready to air on TV, Robbins was still clearly disoriented. His wife asked him if he knew where he should be, and he thought church was the right answer. The Raiders would end up losing the 2003 Super Bowl to the Tampa Bucks, but the mysterious saga surrounding Barret Robbins would go on for quite some time. Ultimately, it was learned that Robbins was going through a manic episode for 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, so it was mental health struggles that contributed to his wrongdoings. He was diagnosed with depression in college, and unfortunately his condition only got worse throughout the years, but as of recently it seems like he's taking accountability for everything. In a 2015 interview, he stated, "Some football guys get together and drink, some guys get together and smoke, some guys get together and do drugs. I did all of them." Truth be told, this wasn't a situation where Robbins decided to purposely miss the Super Bowl. He quite literally was not in his right mind, and to this day he lives with a lot of regret about the missed opportunity. When asked about Super Bowl Sunday, he claimed, "I get depressed. It's hard for me to watch. I think about it all the time. I hit myself in the head and say, damn, if I could have just done this or would have done that." While the story about Barret Robbins is an interesting one, it's also a reminder that people are facing daily battles that we might not understand the gravity of. Even an all-pro center who reached the greatest heights could end up in the deep end. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and remember that it's always possible to turn around a bad situation. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you guys soon.